As crazy of a title that may be, it's true. Sean Kingston did die not once, but twice in a tragic jet ski incident that took him right on out of here. Known for his hits like Beautiful Girls, Sean Kingston was everyone's favorite Jamaican pop star at one point. Beautiful Girls surely had the people swaying to its mellow sample of Benny King's Stand By Me. But after a few songs released here and there, he wasn't able to hold the public's attention any longer, slowly fading away into obscurity. Unfortunately, crime, violence, and death would follow him, and Kingston's career would go on a long-term hiatus until further notice. Well, the time is now. Dropping his fourth studio album just this year, the folks were wondering where on earth Sean Kingston had been this whole time. Apparently in the studio, that's where, but it gets more complex than that. Sean Kingston rose to fame after the popularity of his song Beautiful Girls rose to prominence in 2007. You know, that one song about unaliving himself if a girl broke up with him? As controversial yet widely accepted as that had been, it was an international bop that had the kids, adults, and the elderly feeling all kinds of nostalgic vibes. Born Sean Anderson, Kingston had hopes of venturing off into the music industry since he was a youngin'. Originally introducing himself as a rapper, the man behind the discovery and the label that came with him saw a different route for Sean, hence why Beautiful Girls would be the chosen track for him. He may be Jamaican, but don't be fooled. Miami, Florida is his actual birthplace. His parents decided to uproot and set off back to their native island when he was 6, attending Ocho Rios High School before locating back to the States. Music, like most artists, is no stranger to Sean, his own grandfather being the reggae producer Jack Ruby, also known as Lawrence Lindo. Using what he has to get what he wanted, Sean saw the internet as a scapegoat, a route to get his music out there, and thought the memorable days of good old MySpace was the perfect way for his songs to be noticed. When YouTube came about, that beat his next platform of choice. The opportunity was now, and Sean had exhausted all of his knowledgeable resources. Despite his pop-centric tunes we'd be introduced to, back then, Sean was on his rap grind. Another platform, a talent show located in Miami, had also been another chance for him to showcase his skills. Here, he'd meet other artists like Pitbull, Ludacris, and Trick Daddy, but ultimately it'd be YouTube that would be the platform that projects Sean's career to overall new heights. Discovered by Matt Tobin over at Beluga Height Records, Kingston signed to the label in a partnership deal with Shady Sony. No shade. A development process, if you will. That's what they took it upon themselves to do when it came to Sean and his whole rap image. Sure, rap was popular, but the label just wasn't feeling it for him and sought out a different route. In other words, how can we make this big Jamaican man more palatable to the masses? After record producer J.R. Rotem signed him to the label, it was on and poppin' from there. His first official single, Colors, featuring Rose, Rick Ross, and The Game would be released. Despite the features, the song didn't garner much buzz. The next single, however, will cultivate all the buzz needed to set Sean for life. Beautiful Girls would take Kingston from MySpace rapper to worldwide pop star in the making. The hit alone made Sean Kingston a household name, and the single would peak at number 6 on the Billboard Hot 200. Opening for acts like Gwen Stefani on her The Sweet Escape tour, and select dates for none other than Beyoncé for her The Beyoncé Experience tour. The album was cute or whatever, and the song was hot, but not hot enough to keep the folks wanting more. Although he was able to achieve high sales and numbers with his first album, the second wouldn't live up to that level. Spawning fun club bangers like Fire Burning, it didn't compare to his first banger. The fire was burning under Sean's work ethic, but unfortunately, the block wasn't hot, and the song would reach number 37 on the Billboard 200. 3 times the charm, this time with an A-list crew. Features by Dr. Dre, Kanye West, Nicki Minaj, Soulja Boy, and more for his second studio album, Party All Night, Sleep All Day. Its first single, a cute teen bop if you will, Eeny Meeny, featuring Justin Bieber, gained much steam. Giving Radio Disney tease the single would also be included on Justin's My World 2.0 album. Seeing the success of Eeny Meeny, Sean soon began brainstorming ideas on how he'd ride this wave. A 14-track mixtape featuring Bieber titled Our World, which would have included their own renditions of songs like Soulja Boy's Pretty Boy Swag. Unfortunately, or not, the mixtape would never see the light of day. Another mixtape, however, did. King of Kings, Sean's own mixtape released in February 2011. Their duo collaborative tape may not have been given the green light. Nevertheless, Biebs still found a way to feature on one of Sean's mixtapes. Available as a free download only, with appearances by Flo Rida, Akon, Soulja Boy, B.O.B., and his now friend Justin Bieber. After his second album, Sean would go on hiatus for a little while, which would turn into what seemed like infinity after he was involved in a horrific jet ski accident in the tropical city of Miami, Florida. Traveling around 35 miles per hour with a PYT on the back end, Sean miscalculated the tides in the ocean, which resulted in him, along with his companion, yeeting right off the ski. The lady was thrown into the safety net of the ocean, while Sean was catapulted into a nearby bridge, colliding with its hard structure. Immediately, others would come to his rescue, eventually getting transported to a nearby hospital in critical condition. After about 11 days, it seemed as though he was getting better until he started feeling a sharp pain in his chest. Internal damage was present unbeknownst to him, and he'd soon discover that he had torn his aorta, the main artery that carries blood to the rest of the body. Reassessing the hot spot, it was discovered that Sean's entire imprint was left on the bridge. His upper chest area, arms, and even his chin imprint could be found stained on the bridge's build. That's how hard he'd smash into it. Undergoing emergency surgery, he was blessed to have survived not only the incident, but the surgery, since many don't survive that kind of surgery. The incident would have him sitting on his music for years to come. He died twice during the surgery, but was brought back to life, inspiring the title of his next album, Back to Life. Beat It, the collaboration single with Wiz Khalifa and Chris Brown, did pretty well on the charts, but the overall album didn't make as much noise as his previous. Another hiatus ensued, and 2016 would be the year Kingston would be back. He'd take the initiative to buy himself out of his contract with Epic to gain control over his own music. In 2020, Sean did what many people bored in the house and in the house bored had done, coming up with creative outlets to cure their boredom and pursue goals they'd been sitting on. He started a professional rapper boxing league, would triple the mogul, and returned in 2021, dropping his cookie-cutter music in favor of getting back to his real artistry of choice, rap. Releasing the song Darkest Times featuring G Herbo. He was gone for quite some time, only popping back up in the media to release singles here and there, and for non-music related crimes such as grand theft for unpaid jewelry and an incident involving a music director who'd filed a police report after Sean allegedly put the paws on him. After asking the director to shoot some footage, the director informed him that his phone was dead, sending Sean into a rage before proceeding to pull a firearm out on him. After almost 10 years and no album to show for it, Sean would finally drop his long-awaited album he'd been teasing throughout the years. The album, Road to Deliverance, was released on September 30th of this year via Time Is Money Empire, and it appears as though Sean is back to doing what he loves and in his authentic way. Despite almost seeing the famous white light, he hasn't retired from jet skiing despite being fined $180 for not following jet ski safety procedures, and returned to the activity back in 2018. His music may not be selling like it once did, but Sean Kingston is out here and back in this thing like he never left. Although he left for almost a decade, but you get my point. Are you surprised to find out what happened to Sean Kingston? Let us know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments. And stay tuned for more true celebrity stories.